Welcome, everybody. So, starting this journey on live streaming, live coding. Been actually been talking about doing this for over a year, and I'm finally getting started doing this. Especially now that I can't go and speak at conferences. It's been kind of interesting. Uh, I've already missed like 4 different conferences that I would normally be speaking at. Now moment, my next conference, other than my own, will be all the way in October. Really weird feeling. Have something scheduled for that long. So, so what am I doing here? Well, as I called this Hail Learn Code, and there's a reason for it. So one, Chad Green was not available. Surprise, surprise on Twitch. So I wanted a name that kind of represented everything. So what I was looking at was, looking for something unique, something I can get across all the different areas. So I went for something where, hey, Mickey, how's it going? And yes, may the fourth be with you also. But so I wanted to go with something, unique and something that describes what we're doing. So, telling tales about software development. I've been, hey, Mickey, thank you so much for the follow. So, I've been doing software development actually since I was a kid, and I'm almost 50. So it's been quite a long time. I grew up in this industry. My father was a software developer. Actually, he just retired about a year ago. And I think if it wasn't for medical conditions, he might still be coding on a daily basis. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Thank you. Yes, I'm glad to finally get on the Twitch. So we'll be definitely telling tales, telling stories about what I learned. I'm a director of software development in a company called ScholarX, so I learn a lot from doing that. Plus, I have a lot of friends I learn a lot from. But also, we'll be working on things such as what was I going to say? How to do different things with Angular or not Angular. I am learning Angular right now, but with Azure and .NET, but then the learn. I picked learn for a reason because while I'm hoping folks learn from me, learn from these streams, but I also plan on learning from these. All right, these are really going to be big pairing sessions where I'll be writing code and hopefully getting some inputs from others, but also so hopefully it's a two-way learning street. Like already I can tell you need to learn. Apparently I've got my chat up here, but it's not showing up constantly. It shows up and then everyone disappears. I need to figure out what's going on with that. But then finally coding, right? So we'll be writing a lot of code, throughout the times. At the moment, I've picked this 11:30 to 1 o'clock time slot. I'm trying to figure out if that's going to work the best for me. Sure enough, it works time-wise, in the sense that finally we have a daily huddle. We call them huddles instead of scrums. We have a daily huddle from 11:15. I always take her lunch right after that, so I'm kind of doing that at the same time. But as an MVP, it's also when Microsoft does a lot of MVP discussions. So I'm still debating if this time makes sense. But I wanted to do this because I'm also going to be doing some short form videos up on YouTube. So I wanted the evenings to be able to spend doing those. Sure enough, actually, Mickey's one of my inspirations for doing those videos. So let's switch over. Let's start writing code. And actually, today really we'll just start setting things up. I don't know if we'll actually get into writing code. I haven't even created the project yet. So what do I need to do? Well, what I want to work on is actually rebuilding the Codepalooza website. So for those who don't know, Codepalooza is an annual software development conference held here in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm very partial to it, but I think we do a really good job of doing a community conference that brings a lot of great content to a lot of great people. And we are still having our event this year. Obviously not in person, but we will be a virtual event August 19th through 21. Just sent out speaker notifications 10 hours ago. Yes, I was up way too late doing that. But really great speakers we're going to have this year, and it's all going to be virtual. And one of the great parts, I'll actually tell you, don't register for it yet. Yes, you can. Actually, the register button is still live. But actually, we're reworking the pricing because the pricing is going to be different. It's going to be cheaper. Because again, the whole purpose of Coppola has always been just bringing enough money, pay the cost. The costs actually are going to be cheaper. I am still working out final details with the venue. But hopefully, looks like we're the venue is going to give us a really good deal, and basically, so I won't have to pay the out fee. It's a big relief. So so hopefully, we'll have pricing figured out by next week, and we'll be changing all the registrations. But so, like I said, I want to rebuild the Coppolas website. Why do I want to rebuild this? Well, the biggest reason is it's actually in VB.net. So for those who've known me for a while, know that I was a humongous VB.net fan. Partially because that's how I got my start. Not on VB.net. I actually got my start. My first applications were written using Microsoft Basic back in the late 70s. And I made a career out of that. For first half of my career was all in the basic type languages. I went from Microsoft Basic to Quick Basic to GW Basic. Actually, it was GW Basic, then Quick Basic, and then all the different versions of Visual Basic. To include, I remember when the great thing about VB2 was that we could actually write against the database. VB1 actually against text files. But so sure enough, the last thing I wrote in VB was the Coppolas website. And the funny part is nowadays, because I do C# exclusively, it's kind of fun when I go back in fun and a sarcastic way. I have to remember, oh, okay, you have to do it this way in VB instead of this way in C#. So I definitely, want to get rid of that. And the other part is the thing about the Coppolas website, it was actually written over a weekend. And it was just because the system we were using for content management, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't serving our purpose. It was getting hard, and so I wanted something different, and so I wrote this thing over the weekend. And when you look at the code, you can tell, right? I mean, there's definitely some shortcuts I took with this. So with that being said, I mean, let's take a look. I mean, with any software, you just don't. I mean, it's hard as a developer. You just want to jump in, but we really do need to think about this. So let's think about what we are looking with here. So let's move over to the Coppolas website and let's see if I can do this right. So with this button, there we go. And also I still got to work on my green screen because it's not doing as well as it should. But so sorry for all those artifacts. But here we got the Coppolas website. Now, actually, overall, I like the looks of it. It's not as clean as like the some of the Google stuff with the material design, but it's also not very busy at the same rate. But it's nice. I mean, we've got we've got our hero with the countdown. I definitely still want that countdown. So sure enough, let's open up Notepad and let's talk about, write some notes of what we want to make sure we include in here, right? So on the home, obviously we still are going to need a home page. We definitely still want to include the countdown. It's a definitely great feature of that. With a register button, we want that call to action. Again, while Coppolas is not about making money, actually most years it's just trying to make sure I don't lose money. But I definitely want to make sure that we have that. Next, we definitely still want this about conference. We want that section. That's a good part of the thing to have. To be honest with you, I don't know if we'll change much of this other than recoding homepage. We definitely want the latest news. I need to, I need to put out a post that we're going virtual. We did tweet about that last night, but we haven't sent out anything. I can also tell you what it is missing here are keynote speakers. I am speaking with someone. I will not say who that is, but if I can get this person for our keynote this year, we're an amazing keynote. But I definitely don't want to say who it is since they have not committed. But then, and then there also should be a sponsors list here. It's not listed here. Actually, we do have a sponsor in here. We have a sponsor committed so far. But most everyone else has not committed for obvious reasons. So these are really sections we definitely want to make sure we keep in here. But also looking at the top of what we have. So the one thing I can tell you that I definitely want to make sure we include is previous years. This is something we don't have anywhere in here. Funny part is all the data is there. I have all the data since, I think it's 2016, at least 2017. But we have all that data in there. So all the speakers, all the sessions, they're when they spoke. We have that, the schedules and details are there. So I definitely want to make sure I have previous years. Funny part, talking about the keynote speaker I'm speaking to, she one of the things she mentioned was like, hey, I was trying to see how I fit in your conference, and obviously you haven't announced speakers yet, and I couldn't see last year's. I just I'm about to send her an email response of here's how you can get to them, because actually there's a back way of getting to previous years. But I need to make sure we include that. So we definitely want to make sure we add that. Next thing we want to add in here is, okay, so what else do we want to include? So in our attend section, we have a couple different pages. Actually, can't even click on that, which that might be not good. Maybe the attend should actually click on something. So sure enough, but within the attend section, we definitely need pricing information. Actually, we should add that to the homepage. That really should be right there. Making that a little bit easier to find, and so people are not having to dig through the site. We still definitely want to include the FAQs. Going to be more important this year. Going all online. There's going to be more questions. I am looking at a particular system. It's going to require you to go log into that system. So we'll have some good questions there that we want to cover. We definitely still need that. Event location. That's a good question. I don't know if we need to keep on covering that area because there's not an event location. It's virtual this year, so maybe make this feature flag driven. So we can turn that on or off. Because next year, I'm really hoping that we can be back in person next year. Right? Virtual conference is great, but it's still not the same thing as. And then attendee toolkit. Check what exactly. Oh, so in here, this is attendee toolkit's pretty cool. We have, you can download the logos, so forth. So attendee toolkit. I'm going to say this is probably a lower priority. All right. I don't actually need that right away. There's some good stuff in here, but not that it's links and so forth. So, all right. So if we go to sponsors again, I really do. I need to take care of this tonight. I need to do have a sponsor this year so far, and I'm talking to someone. I need to get them listed because it is a great sponsor. So we definitely need this with list sponsor, and then we definitely still need sponsorship. And if you're thinking about sponsoring Copalooza, awesome. Give me a call, give me a ring, or actually give me a text or email. But these prices are going to change because, again, pricing of the whole conference changes virtual. But we definitely want this list, and along with these so sponsorship info, art, sponsor process. Need all that. All right, the news. All right, we definitely continue to have the news section. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm looking at, maybe I keep most everything I still have. But we definitely want the news. Definitely need these resources. And maybe also should have a resource include listing page. Right now, that's not there. I remember this was one of those things I added one day because I needed to add these policies. Because I need to make sure I list them. So we should probably list those out. It is interesting. These are not hard-coded pages. They are database driven. But we definitely want to. These are important resources. Probably will also include resources for virtual events. Not necessarily something I need to code, but definitely want to make sure. Actually, call speakers. I just need to take that link out, but there needs to be the ability. So ability, does this just should just forward me over to Sessionize? Obviously close because we did finally send it out to yesterday. So but we need the ability to include hot links. I don't know what to call this. On menu, i.e. speakers. That's really the main one, but it definitely would want that. And then finally, we want the register. Again, I mean, it is about getting seats in the butts type thing. All right, I mean, I think that's a good way of looking at this. I think that's overall what we need to build. Let's look a little bit, and I gotta remember how to do this. Let's go launch Visual Studio. I should open this thing up. Show you what it looks like today. And actually, I'm not even sure I have it on the machine. This is actually a brand new machine. My last machine died on me. Not surprise me. So let's go to DevOps. Let's go on this. So I do keep everything in DevOps. I will say one of the things that I'm going to be learning here, I need to learn more and more about GitHub. Really use GitHub. You know, there's some things going on. I won't discuss them all, some stuff, but definitely I highly suggest people look more and more at GitHub, and I need to. At any rate, I want to go here. Am I not getting? Why is it not on this? All wonderful. Can't find my clone button. Mickey's asking if it's TFEC. You know what? This one might be. Because this, yeah, it is. Yeah, Mickey, thank you. That's why I don't have my clone button. So I'm also still new to Git. I've only been using Git for a couple years. All right, no problem. Well, I'm not going to download it yet because I don't have that set up on Visual Studio. So let's just go ahead and go into development. Actually, everything's sitting in development. I never move anything. So one of the things, really what I was just trying to do, so if I go into website, and I want to go to top code for top. So yeah, so you can see I'm just doing these manually. I mean, this is definitely an old way of coding. So let's see. What I want to find, I have that one, conference menu. I want to find conference menu because really what I'm trying to remember is how do I pull up my, because there is actually, like I said, there is a back way of doing this. So I want, yeah, here's what I'm looking for. Schedule, oh, and then the event date. So what I should be able to do, go do that. That's click on the right thing. This should be 08. We were 18, 19. All right, because I mean, basically, what I want to look at was how I was showing this before. Um, Maybe I will go for the fun of. I'll make. I'm just now noticing your comment. Ah, that sucks that you didn't get to your keynote. Hopefully, you'll get to do one here soon. Talking about speaking. Looking at the comments. Well, sure enough, like I say, I'm not scheduled to speak until October. I'm really hoping it happens because it's my first European conference, which actually was supposed to be in June. It got rescheduled to October. It's the European Cloud Conference. I'm really hoping that still happens. All right. Error. All right. Let's just try it this way. Oh, I know why. Oh, I know why it's not coming. Because I actually have code in there that's looking to see that the dates are. It's seeing that conference is no longer. That's where my problems come. I think if let's go to. I've actually been need to go to the database. The funny part is, let me go. I meant to go to Portal. I've actually been liking the in the Portal. You can actually you can do SQL queries. I've actually been liking that more than opening up system map thing, not my work account. All right, so if I go in, and boy, I'm so happy that we rebuilt the portal screen. That looks so much better. Love that drop down of current stuff. All right, so if I go to query editor, oh, I can't do. I'll have pull my go get that pack. Okay, I set this database quite a while ago. Really should have it user base. Oh, here's where the bad part is. I do, and this is a really bad thing. It's in my source code. You have the password in source code. Bad, bad. Looked it up without everyone. Not only is it in source, I mean it's sitting, it's right there in plain. I do need to change that. Tell me it's also that is not the right. Here it is. Oh, it's so much fun picking up a project you haven't been working on in a while. All right, this way. Again, still doing this off screen because I'm not going to openly. While I might have my password in open text, I'm not just going to show it to everybody. Let's this portal. And that is good. At least what I have checked in is actually the password on my local machine. I don't have the data on my local machine. So at least it's not, at least I don't have checked in my actual. Just a second, I'm grabbing that password. Big here. Oh, I didn't mean. The fun part about doing this, about live coding, I talk to myself when I code anyway. So I don't know how much difference this really. I think my family thinks I'm kind of weird because I'll be sitting here talking, and my wife was like, "Who are you talking to?" Nobody. Just here going along. says that's user gen. Should be the. Oh, I'm silly. I did have the right. I was looking at the right thing. I have to give set the firewall. You can see everywhere I've been where I've had to set the where I had to make changes. See, I actually just got my internet upgraded 2 weeks ago. I have a new IP address. All right, now, yeah, now we can log. All right. So sure enough, what I need to do. So one of the things I did on here, I had this whole thing. So if you look at event detail, so if I have this table event detail, and sure enough, there's a flag here. Events. There's a, oh, where did I put it? I know somewhere. I don't even remember where I put it. There's somewhere. Oh, right here is current event. So you can see that right now, current event is 2020. I think if I do, so let's update event detail set. Call it is current event. Nine. Where event for ID 9. Oh. One thing I learned from working in a lot of production databases, in transaction. Always do that just in case even though I mean the SQL is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. I learned a long time ago. Do begin transactions. Funny story. Well, this is a long time ago, but I actually pulled an all-nighter. I was working on a system for the Army that handled all the purchasing, all the IT purchasing for Army recruiting, which was $250 million a year. They spent a lot of money. I include contracts and so forth. And I pulled an all-nighter in the office. And, because it was like around 4:30 when I finished what I was working on. And it's a 45-minute drive home. And I was like, I've got, I had something at like, 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to drive 45 minutes. I'm not going to be able to fall asleep right away and have to drive back. So I just stayed there. Well, sure enough, that morning I got a request to update one line item to $1 million because it was something that they needed. Industrial UPS is what it was. Ones they have to bring in on a truck. And I forgot, I screwed up my where clause. I ended up changing everything in the database to $1 million, right? Which was getting interesting because then it was causing other errors because some of the calculations were only in ints, and yeah, that was fun. So hence, do begin transactions. All right, now if I do this, still not showing this guy. But that's all I needed to do. Make sure that it's still showing 2020 is our actual card. All right, well, maybe we could dig through this code a little bit more. Back to source code. Sure enough, for tomorrow, I'll have had this code down a little bit easier to get. So, but what I want to look at, back to files, look at, remind myself how this. So if I go to conference, because that's actually where, and I want session, go behind. So no date passed, go to the first date. Filter date. Going to filter in that date. So that's all cool. And then we're going to go in here. Where is it? Here's what I want. I think the problem's in this method. This should be the session list. This is why I actually have it in Visual Studio. It's a little bit nicer. Try to find things. Get by topic. I'm going to call this procedure. And no, I did not use Entity Framework on this. Not the biggest fan, but we'll talk about the database here in a moment. But I'm actually looking at doing something a little bit different for the database for Github. Please talk about that here in a moment. All right. So sure enough, select where. Okay. If event ID is 0, part of the. I'm probably sending back. Or no, I'm not sending. I don't think I'm sending an event. Get that back. That should work. Oh no, I'd be grabbing the last one. Oh, okay. All right. Let's do this. Go back here. Set this back to 0. Back off. Before I sure I had a train. Let's here. This. I want to make sure that I did turn. Have a transaction. All right, well, says I don't have a transaction. Let's do this. All right, I actually do have a staging site. Let's go to the staging site before I script my production site. It's not really good to be. So if I see, I remember. Sure enough. Slots. You have the staging. To be honest, I don't know what year this is. This should have 2020. I'll let it spin up because the site's been dormant for probably since February. Okay, so there. Now on here, I can't remember where the database is at. Go back to all services. This database. Now the thing is, I know I have a way of going to schedule, but I can't. I figured it out because I actually sent a note to someone who was asking. detail. Sure enough, if I run this, what I'm going to do in staging is I'm going to say update event detail set is current event 0 where ID equals 10, and then update event detail that is current event 1 where ID 9. Okay, so basically I'm gonna effectively deactivate. I'm even gonna take a step. Yeah, I'm gonna. So 2020 is not the active event, and 2018 is the active doing here. Again, I want action just to be sure. 2 rows updated, expecting. It's interesting. I'm guessing that in the portal it's ending the transaction right away. That's curious. I gotta look that up. Like I said, I've been using this more and more, but I use it more for querying. You know, I'm a director. I don't write as much code anymore as I did, developer. But all right. So anyway, now on the staging site, go here. That should work like that. It should be able to. I think this is hard coded. That's why it still says. I think if I go to schedule, I think like that, and go 09, 08. Recompile this folder. I'm still not getting my schedule. Well, all right. Let's just do this. Let's just look at the code. What I was really trying to get to was what exactly is a display. So I can kind of remember what we want to show going forward. All right, so let's just go back here. So let's go to repos, go back to website, session, conference. And then, so what I want to look at, so in sessions, in here, so we can kind of see this. I mean, basically it's building a table. It's really hard to see. I really just don't want to muck even my staging site up more. Because I could potentially roll that up if I had to roll up a quick. So basically we're showing the profiles, we're showing each speaker by time slot. So, I mean, I guess let's just go back to our notes writing. That's really what was important. So we go back here. So we want our schedule. And let's just talk about what, I mean, long way around this. We want, so there should be a schedule by date. There should be a schedule by what we call topic. Most everyone is called. So we went away from the name of tracks to topics because it's a little, I don't have a definitive area. But so schedule by topic. I want to schedule by speaker, which really would list out the speakers. And you click on and see that sessions that speaker has. We also want to schedule by tag. And one of the things I want to do in this new thing is I want to, and then find related sessions, all right? Along with, I want to have a context map of, so if I'm looking up, say I'm looking up the tag of Azure, right? If I'm looking at the tag of Azure, then there's a good chance that anything that has a tag of cloud, I might also be in. Definitely, I want to show with a context map that. And so that comes back, I was talking about this, so one of the things I want to do with this uh, I'm going to do this with a graph database. I ran a graphs a couple years ago, and sure enough, I speak quite a bit about them nowadays. I really love graph databases. They're not the answer to everything. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for this, really for this section right here, I would actually say that graphs are not the right solution. It's not going to cause a problem. It's a little bit more work to do a graph database than like a regular SQL database. The graphs are amazing, right? So sure enough, you know, let's go to Azure this time. Actually, let's go to the docs. Really what I want to go to. That really shows it better. So in Cosmos, go into Azure, we go to Cosmos. So Cosmos, if you haven't done much with Cosmos, Cosmos is awesome. Again, it's not the solution for everything. Because you definitely want to make sure you're looking for the right thing. But it is a really good system that allows for replicating data over the world and heartbeats and really neat features with it. One of the great things about Cosmos is it's not just one type of data. So normally when we think of Cosmos, we're thinking of the SQL interface, the SQL API, which is really it was DocumentDB with some tweaks and a whole lot more tweaks nowadays. But you can see there's also these other APIs that have added in here. Make that a little single stream. So I can do Cassandra, I can do Mongo, Gremlin, Table, or etcd, which is used for Kubernetes. That's all I know about etcd. But sure enough, so and these are full ports, right? So like Cassandra, I could if I'm running Cassandra somewhere else, I can actually move my Cassandra database here and use it here, right? Same thing with Mongo. So these are really great. The wire protocol is set up 100%. Same thing with Gremlin, right? So Gremlin is a graph database. Go in here, and looking for. They're not really doing a good job. Here we go. Here's our introduction. Yeah, here's the graph or the image I was looking for. So here's kind of what you can think of a graph database, right? So in here, things are more naturally related. So one of the things I talk about a lot of times when I talk about graph databases, relational databases actually are not the best at showing relational data. They weren't actually built that way, right? Relational databases are actually designed off of spreadsheets. More importantly, I shouldn't say spreadsheet because they predate that. Really are based off of ledgers, which ledgers are spreadsheets are based off of ledgers. But they were based off ledgers. That's why when you look at the database, it looks like how it does. Table format with the columns, rows, and so forth. That's really what they were trying to replicate. And so, and actually, when what is now called relational databases, when they got started, they didn't have foreign keys. That was something that was added in. Added so that we could relate things together. So, but it's adding things on. It's not actually natural. Again, anyone's been doing it long enough, almost. But in reality, we're not doing this as well. Whereas in here, so we can see right away. I mean, this is a direct link. So Thomas knows Robin. It's so you have this vertex of Thomas, you have the vertex of Robin, and then this line here, this is called an edge or a relationship. The great part is in our graph databases, this edge is the same thing as this vertex. It just has a different purpose. And what I mean by that is it's a document, and it has properties. So I can actually add really nice properties right in there. So I could have like knows Robin, but I could add like, well, look at this one. Like Thomas uses this laptop. Right? I could add in a property of date in service. So we could have, and then we could search for that. And then we could actually search our properties. I'm sorry, we could search our edges, our relationships for all of the uses, property or edges that, where the date is in between here. So maybe we're looking for what laptops do we need to resell. So those are one of the great things about graph databases. And so I've been looking at it as a way to sort this out so we could actually have a more dynamic way of finding sessions, especially because I mean we do a lot of sessions. So this year we're going to have 132 sessions through 2 days. So that's a lot of sessions that are going on. There's going to be 12 sessions each hour that we have sessions right. You have a lot to pick from. So it actually, kind of do that on purpose, right? But it's a little bit, overwhelming, trying to pick what session do I want to do. Which I will say, and this is not meant to just keep on plugging Copalooza, but one of the great things about Copalooza this year being virtual is, what I'm working on is that you'll be able to view the videos afterward. As an attendee, you don't have to watch everything live. Although, I mean, obviously, we're hoping that everyone is live to watch them live. But if there's 2 or 3 sessions I want to watch during an hour, it's okay. I can pick the one that maybe makes the most sense for me at that moment, and I can watch them on, right. And hopefully, a graph will help me find those, because I can also build. And so this reminds me, we want an attendee section, right? And then one of the things we want in this attendee section is viewing of recorded sessions, and then find related sessions. We want to be able to what were related sessions, because that again, tags help that a lot, but we can do some other things again with this, right? Related could be other sessions by the speaker, other sessions by in the same topic area. Although when you get to, application development as a topic, that's a really big, that's really not a good enough thing to do there. So we have to, it's one of the things I'm probably put some smarts in this, because like the quality assurance topic does not have as many sessions. Actually, I think we have a really good selection of selections, but I won't be running 5 quality assurance sessions at one time, where I will be doing that, running more than 5 applications. Yeah, so we definitely want that. So I think that's a good list, right? So, again, we should write some stories against this. Yeah, so Brian, I see the comment. So sure enough, that was the hard part about this. We weren't going fully virtual till just recently, right? We we fought it as long as we could. I really wanted to do an in-person event, because listening to some of my folks who have been to, if not all the Copaloozas, a lot of the Copaloozas, they really wanted a live. And we did try it for a long time. So yeah, I definitely get that. Oh, okay, Douglas. Hey, Douglas. I want to talk to you sometime soon. I'm and congrats on the MVP. That's awesome. So I saw your tweet. So this Douglas Starnes down in Memphis just got Microsoft MVP. Awesome to see that, right? Definitely well deserved. But sure enough, Douglas, I saw that. I was going to reach out to you. I want to talk to you about talking to one of my user groups virtually, because again, we're doing even more stuff virtually that way. So, all being said, so where was I going with all that? All right, so I think this is a good set of features that that we have here. Oh, I know what I'm saying. So we do need to write these in user stories. I'm not gonna do that just yet, because I might do that offline. I don't know if everyone watches me write user. But so I definitely want to make these user stories. Let's talk a little bit about some technology, right? Again, you really should have your user story set, but you know what? I'm the developer. I'm the business analyst. I'm the I'm the tester. I'm everything for this application, so I can kind of side skirt some things. So so technologies. Well, obviously, I want to use Cosmos, in particular Gremlin. Now, the thing about Gremlin, there are some limitations with Gremlin. One, you cannot use any framework. You can use any framework for the SQL, for Cosmos SQL, but not for Gremlin. And And I was thinking about it. It's actually not an easy thing to do because of while I can represent most everything as classes, it gets a little bit harder. So why I'm bringing this all up is I probably want everything in another database also. Because the other thing is, if I want to do reporting or such, Gremlin is not necessarily the best for reporting. It's great for discoverability, but getting raw reports can not necessarily be the hard thing. So we'll probably also have a SQL data. And then I'll have we'll use the change feed within Cosmos. So you'll write things to Gremlin, most likely. I mean, maybe as we get through here, maybe some things we'll write in the SQL database first. But yeah, we'll write it into the Cosmos database using the Gremlin API. And then Cosmos has a whole feature of the change feed. So I can capture everything but deletes. It doesn't support deletes. I think maybe that might be coming. But I don't remember what. I know there was something about that, but I don't remember if that was something that's definitely coming or something they're looking at. But at any rate, but anytime any write to it, whether it's an update, actually technically everything is rewritten anyways. You can't do partial updates on documents yet. I think that's going to come. But so any updates that happen in the database, I actually get it in this change feed, and then I can consume that in different ways. To include, I can capture it in an Azure function. That's normally how I do it. A function that can do things. And so, sure enough, the funny thing is, I do talks about Gremlin, but I've actually only put together one production system. I've done a lot of tests and a lot of personal projects with it. But that first one I did, that's exactly what we're doing. Because we needed to do reporting. And we needed to use it. We wanted to use Power BI. So we actually moved everything to a SQL database. Actually, we didn't move everything. We moved everything that we needed for reporting, which is one of the nice things. I don't have to move everything. I can move what I need to do. And that worked really well for that solution. You know, I remember talking to the business users about it. Well, and we need that data pretty quickly. And I was like, well, is 5 seconds okay? That was about how quickly it got written in the. So it's sometimes even quicker than that. All right, so we're definitely going to use Cosmos. The other things we're definitely going to use, or what I want to look at, using Angular, right? So I'm just now learning Angular. It's funny. I a couple of years ago I tried to pick it up, and I gotta admit I got lost. And sure enough, I was talking to one of my guys at ScholarX. You know, he's one of the experts in Angular. Does a lot of training course. And I was talking to him about this, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, it was so hard before to get it set up." And I think that, and I was like, "Yeah, I remember that." I got stuck on getting it even set up. But anyway, I want to use Angular. At work, we're trying to get the backend developers, the API developers, to learn a little bit more about Angular. And it really just boils down to we have one Angular guy, one full-time Angular guy. Actually, my person who works on our sorry for that pop-up. I apparently need to close Slack. I see Jonathan Mills forgot to submit. So I'll talk to John. So where I was going with this. So yeah, we're trying to get backend developers to help a little bit more with some of the front end. Because we over the next couple of months, we have a lot of front end development that we need to do. And so I've been trying to learn that, you know, so I can help out. So I want to use this. I want to use Angular here. Plus, Angular is I think it is the right solution. Now, with that being said, I might do some Blazor in this too. All right. I really debated about that. Right. I mean, Blazor is really cool. Definitely, if you have any interest in Blazor, I would definitely tell you to check out either Carl Franklin or Ed Charbonneau. Those two definitely are leading in the community, talking about Blazor. Ed actually he does live stream. I forget what days he live streams. I'm really bad about knowing when people live stream. I get the pop-ups and all of a sudden I start watching a live stream. But Ed has been involved with us since day one, almost. I mean, you know, he's definitely been really interested. But I definitely want to do some Blazor with this also. So I'll probably do a mix. What I might do, you know, thinking through this thing, might have the what we'll call the front end, the client application. Not really what we'll call this. Let's call this attendee application in Angular, and I might look at doing this as the admin application, which would include speakers, sponsors. Right? One of the things, so we did have a speaker portal. That's actually how we, first couple of years, that's how we did our call for speakers. First couple of years of the newer site. We've gone a lot of different ways of call for speakers. But the last, I think it's just 2 years, we've been using Sessionize, which is great. A really good system, and especially for speakers, because you know all my, you know, like as a speaker, all my sessions I've submitted elsewhere are in there. So if I'm just submitting those to multiple places, which what you do, you have that ability. So anyway, so I might do that split, right? That way I can kind of do both, right? So we can do some in Angular, some in Blazor. I think that will make a lot of sense. All right, so we definitely want those technologies. Some other things I definitely want to build in here. I want to use the, so there's a newer service in Azure, and I'm drawing a blank what it's called, right? Oh, app configuration, Azure app configuration. So, and I want to use this for a couple of different things. Well, before I even describe it, we'll have Azure functions. This is what will drive a lot of this. But so Azure app configurations, this is funny, it was actually built by the ASP.NET team. But it is an Azure service and allows me to configurations along with feature flag. So it's a really nice service. You know, and we can go to the docs. This is in developer tool. So you know, just looking at, you know, if we just look at what this is, it's based off the 12-factor app. If you want a good explanation of 12-factor app, check out the oh, what's the name of that podcast? Hold on, this is gonna drive me crazy because I'm drawing a blank the name of the podcast. This podcast, Coding Blocks. Coding Blocks actually did a whole thing about the 12-factor act, and definitely check them out for really deep detail into that. But at any rate, so the whole idea, looking for the thing, but really, what you know, you can see some of their benefits, right? So you've got a fully managed service, but you know, managing the configuration. One of the nice things about this, you know, sorry about the dog in the background. That means someone forgot to lock the gate. But okay, there he stopped. But at any rate, you know, so because I want to play with it, I can have, you know, if I have my app, my web app located in multiple regions, right, for, you know, to reduce latency. Not that we really need it for Copilot, but I want to do that just, again, I want to build this fully out. But one of the great things is about I don't have to manage the configuration in multiple places. Under traditional, you know, I had the configuration, you know, maybe for east and maybe for west, right? Or wherever I put my multiple locations. With this, I can put it in one location, right? And I can manage it. And then I can actually set up things so I can reproduce them, so I can still have that configuration closer to the site. Just reduce that latency everywhere possible. But the other thing they have in here, you know, there's also this feature management. So look at this one. You know, and it's a pretty simple one. Here, if I go to the screen showing, the moment the only one I have set up is for work. So I don't want to show that. Show where they're creating the flag. Okay, here you go. Here's what I was looking. So here you can see it's just a feature, and it's just it's a key and it's a yes no or on off, right? Very very simple feature flags, but this is really cool, right? really simple to do. You know, I can have my key. And then the other great thing about app configuration is you have the labels, right? Think of labels as like maybe your environments, maybe your locations, right? So like I was talking about, I might have two different places. So my database connection strings might be two different connection strings, right? I can have a label of the region along with the region, you know, a label of the environment. That's what I use them mostly for. Dev, prod. So definitely want to use this. It's a really nice feature to use. So definitely want to use that. And then I definitely use Azure Functions. Great way to store the to build that out. It's definitely a great way. Talk about having multiple locations. I can actually put Azure Functions in multiple locations and not cost me anything different. I can't put websites in multiple locations. I can definitely do this in multiple locations and not take that hit, or because it's still the same cost if I have two people coming from two different places in the world. I have those located same as if they're both coming to one central location. Great. So definitely we'll do that. So, and trying to think of any other things I want to make sure we highlight that we want to work on. That's it. So I'm curious. So a couple of viewers, I mean, most of which have either spoken or have attended Copilus. I mean, anyone on the chat, can you think of anything else I'm missing? Right? I mean, is there any other sections that we should be having in Copilus site? Grant you, I mean, I'll be building this for a while because I haven't even started the project. But definitely hit me up if you could think of anything that think of that we could be adding. Sorry, so I'm just trying to think where I want to do next. I do need to end at 1 o'clock. And sure enough, that the one thing about doing these at lunch is my end time can be a little bit more stricter because I do have a lot of. And actually, I don't have a meeting at 1 o'clock. I have a meeting at 1:30, but I want to eat lunch before that meeting. But so I'm just trying to think what actually could we do. I guess let's go ahead and get some other things set up. So we've got that set up. So all right, like I said, I want to use a little bit of GitHubs. I want to use I'm going to play with GitHub Actions on this. I want to use that as build engine. Which sure enough, I don't know if Mickey's still on, but Mickey has definitely done some great videos. I'll do those. I'll be rewatching those as I start doing this. But one thing that GitHub does not have yet, they don't have like the work item tracking. So I talked about like all these. I need to build these into unit storage or user storage. Excuse me. But that's really not there yet in GitHub. I think it's coming. I think you can read the tea leaves and see that's coming, but it's definitely not there yet. So we're going to do a mix, right? And part of the reason why I want to do this is a discussion we're having at work, right? Do we start moving things over? We're fully on Azure DevOps. It works really well for us. We do need, we need to make some tweaks. Actually, we're going to meet tomorrow, talk about some of that. But we definitely have some. I want to get a better understanding of this. The long story short of all that, let's go in here. Go in here. That's one. So in my DevOps, I'm gonna create it in here. You can see I create a lot of things that so I do have I have a full subscription, but the great part is actually you can do most of this for free. I mean, I really do like everything. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is really do I want to create it under here? I guess that's the question. Yeah, I want to create a new project. I'm going to leave this Copilus. I want to keep that pristine, not pristine per se, but I don't want to muck with it, especially because it is the current project. I want that, even though I could do a different brand. is, as Mickey, thank you, pointed out earlier, that is actually TFVC. So let's go ahead and create a new project. And why I'm not seeing one. Okay, it hasn't been that long since. Oh, who am I logged in? That's why. Let me I don't see the new project because I'm logged in as my work account. So I do this a lot. I have I use different browsers for different accounts. Makes it easier than trying to log in and out of different accounts. Now, still logged in here. To sign account. This is the fun part about having, I have a lot of, although they have made this so much easier. Okay. All right, now. And now we can go ahead and create. And we will call this, we'll call this Codepalooza. Yeah, I know. Call this call it new platform. And it sounds like a weird name, but I do want I don't want to. Well, you know what I can do. Hold on, let's do this. Before I do that, go to my project settings. Here we go. Call this archive. Oh yeah. Well, work items, queries, URLs. It'll mess up my laptop. My laptop I am connected to TFVC. That's not. All right. That's okay. And I fully understand. I guess they really want to make sure that I understand what I'm doing. Sure enough, I mean this could be pretty bad, which is part of the reason why I want to do this now, because I will not, again, this would mess me up as far as picking up on my laptop. I do have the path linked, but that's okay. I'm not doing any current work items, queries. I might have some queries, but I still need. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and save that. So now I move that to archive. Now I'm gonna create a new project. I'll call this Codepalooza. Okay. Application to manage Codepalooza. Good enough description. And let's see. Do I make this public? I think I am going to make it public. I will make this available, right? Because why not share it? Right? I'm streaming online, so let's go ahead and we will make this public. That's a great way. So, and then the other thing I want to do. Okay, I'm going to keep it the Git, but then I'm going to go and create I'm going to create the GitHub repository in a second. So we'll do that. We'll keep it this actual Let me remember. For my Agile, I played around with it, but I'm gonna leave it at the Agile. So if you haven't done much setting up projects, so you have this work item process, right? So it allows you to have different types of setups, right? The Scrum is following a traditional Scrum with the Scrum rules and so forth. Agile is really more what people do, what people are doing with Scrum. Um, you know, basic. It's a very simplistic. To be honest with you, I really could go with basic on this project because I'm not really doing that much. I'm gonna leave it at Agile. That's what I'm more comfortable with. CMMI. So CMMI is the Carnegie Mellon Maturity Interactive. And it was so CMMI is a complex way of measuring how mature our project is. It's ensure really what it's making sure is you have a process and you know what that process is, and you that's really and you have ways to change that process because there is an understanding that processes need to be changed. Actually, really, a lot of people who try to get in CMMI, that's one of the things they forget is that you need a way to change that. At any rate, CMMI, still I think it's still used by really big enterprises. Definitely still a lot of use in government agencies. Um, it's not to say you can't do CMMI with Agile, but it makes it CMMI does make it a little bit harder, not impossible. But anyway, we're gonna keep with Agile. So all right, I'm gonna create that project. Project is named, or you can use this name. The owner of each workspace execute the git command. Interesting, because there is not a git command. Oh, okay. And there's still TFVC referring to this, or you can use this name, owner of each workspace execute. Oh, okay. Oh, see, this is one of the reasons why I got off of TFVC. Is the workspaces. I like TFVC, but the workspaces are a little bit of a and I know, and the reason why they're a little bit of pain is you can have workspace that of a person who's dead and it's still on there. I really don't want to do this on this machine. This is, like I said, it's a new build of a machine. I really don't want that old stuff here. So let's all right. Go ahead and skip that step for the moment. Go to GitHub. And I am logged into my learn code. So do it under here. Actually, I probably should, now I think about it, I really should create a new organization. Oh, let's do that. I didn't think about this. I really should create a new organization for learn code. It means you agree. Okay. They don't really. Okay, and we're going to call this learn code because I really should do this. And one of the cool things, you can actually specify where your project should be located, where the server is. I'm just gonna keep it Central US, but this is really nice. If you're, keep it closer to you. I think there are plans to add more. I'm gonna leave it Central US. So let's create this organization. There we go. So now I have this organization. Now I can create CodePalooza. Show you now beginning. Again, we'll create this as a public project. Create this. I didn't need to change it. The others. There we go. Now I have a new project in an organization. This is a public project. It says public. And now what I also want to do, so in GitHub, I am in learn code, login. I'm not going to create an organization here. I'll do this as an individual. But we're going to go in here, start a new project. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to call this CodePalooza. Good to know no one's taken my own name of Codepalooza. And web applications for the Codepalooza annual conference. Okay. And again, we're going to keep this public. All right. I want to share this out. We will initialize a README. Probably not going to put much in it just yet. But I am going to put a NOR file for Visual Studio. And I'll license. I do MIT license. Let's see here. Which of the following best describes our working community? Simple, passive, care about sharing. I want contributing to a dependency that doesn't. Oh, okay. Simple, permissive, which lets people do almost anything they want with your project, contributing close to source. Yeah, maybe I want to go with this one because, I mean, in one sense, I don't care what you do with it. Doing this live coding, so I'm sharing it, writing everything open. But except distributing closed source, I think that's what I want to do. Let's do do that one. I really should. I need to get someone like Jeff Strauss. He one time. So he was. Well, he actually still is a lawyer, but I mean, really a developer nowadays. He actually does a really good talk of. He does a good talk of things you need to consider, like your license. But we'll keep it there. I believe you can change that afterwards. That. All right, so I'm gonna create that repository. I'm not gonna set up the actions yet because I'm not ready. There's nothing to set up just yet. And we'll leave this README as is for the moment. That will work just. I'm gonna make one little change. README. Updated the time for naming. This Codepalooza is 2. So then we'll commit that change. All right, and then now we've got that done. Now we can go back over here. And I have only done this, walking through the code. Trusting. Yeah, go ahead and switch that over. So what I want to do, I want to repos. I want to go here to repos, then to repository. And I have to remember how you add this. You add this. Yeah, here we go. No. All right. How to add GitHub repo. Now it's possible, but I actually don't know how you do this. There we go. Right here in the docs. Okay, connect. Platform. Fine as I'm. Oh, okay, we have to add. All right. So what I'll need to do. Here's where I might not get. Here. Need to do. Add administrator. Not a new team. Organizational settings. Here's what I want. Users. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my tail-learn code user. That's actually how I'm signed in to GitHub. So tail-learn code. Sure. Oh no. Tail-learn code is now a subscriber. Chad Green is. Well, Adam is basic. I'm going to add administrators. And we'll send out notification sent. Of course, I close. Didn't want it to interfere. Get a lot of messages. And of course, one thing I am having on this new machine, it does seem like Outlook takes even longer to load. Maybe I should switch more to the web version. All right, well, we'll give this just a moment because one more moment, then I'm just going to switch over because I am getting near the end of my time for today. All right, well, here, let's just do this. Yeah, and showing I use different browsers for different users. I'll go to Opera. Who's seen Opera anytime recently? Funny, a long time ago, I worked for a company where our manager was Dutch, so he was a humongous fan of Opera, and this is back in the day when you had to tweak your HTML for all the different versions. Didn't the email come? Oh, well, you know, sure enough, DevOps, you shouldn't have allowed me to do it that way. I know what the problem is. I need to add this as Chad Green at tail-learn.com. And then basic, add the code blues.
Sorry, I'm not.
All right, Siri, no one was talking to you. All right, now we get that. That's why it was in red a moment ago. All right, now that email should be coming through in here. There we go. So we've been invited. DevOps. Let's join this now. This is actually be the last thing I'm going to do. So I'm actually changing my name to Tail Learn Code, so I can distinguish between the two. Continue from there. Actually, most of my code I'll check in as check. There we go. All right. So that, I mean, I think it was a good start. Move to this because I am gonna start closing this up now. Yeah, this is the button I want to hit. So I want to definitely thank everyone for watching, for coming on my first stream. I should be showing credits. Interesting. I know I had No, at least Mickey followed. Anyway, I definitely want to thank everyone for joining me in my first forte in live streaming. It was fun. I really enjoyed myself. Didn't write a whole lot of code yet. We'll get more into it tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll wrap up getting GitHub and Azure DevOps hooked up together and starting to go, and then from there we'll at least start the writing the code. I gotta admit I'm not a front end person. I can make Battleship Gray with the best of them. If anyone remembers the old Windows days. So I'm looking at what I'm gonna do as far as the front end looks like. I might do a couple of different ideas. What I've done in the past is I'll go to something like Theme Forest. Look for a theme that looks pretty much close to what I want, and then I will write my code against that. I'm also been thinking about using like Fiverr, or I'm actually going to reach out to one or two people and ask if they would want to write a front end for us. At least the shell of the front end. So I need to figure it out. So, but we'll stick with at first. Especially during this week, we'll stick with writing the API. So what do we need for the API? Start getting that in place. But again, this is going to take a while. All right, I'm going to I might eventually write some code at night, but really I'm going to try to do as much as I can on the stream. Try to make this a joint adventure. Again, the great part about doing this is we'll be doing this. Is that we're doing it together, right? And so it's a lot of fun and doing it every day. I will say, what I did forget to mention at the beginning, those who hang on the whole time. The other thing I am planning on doing on the stream is, so like I said, we're going to have 132 sessions. I forgot how many speakers that is. And I don't want to go into Sessionize and show that off, but I can do that because you can't see that screen right now. But we have a lot of speakers. Really, what the point is. So sure enough, speakers. Now, and I should say these are speakers who I have sent acceptances out to. I do expect some of them to say, "Hey, I can't really do that session virtually." That's understandable. I was going to look this. I have go to shows me now. Oh, so apparently I have 136 speakers. All right. So long story short, why am I talking about speakers? I want to do interviews with these speakers, right? I mean, one is a great way to promote Codepalooza, which that in itself is great. But the other part is, I want to. These are great people, right? They all have great stories to tell. And again, hail part of the name of the stream. All right, so apparently Chris is about to send me an email. Yeah, again, that's to be expected. All right, sure enough, I've already gotten a couple of emails from folks of, hey, this isn't going to work right. Sure enough, one, the guy was going to do something with Legos, right? And I remember last night when I was doing my final review, I was like, are we actually able to do this virtually? And he just said, hey, can I do this one instead? Which really, it was a toss-up between the two. So point being, well, I definitely wanted to interview folks, right? So I'll probably do that once or twice a week. So it's part of these streams. Internet is 101. I grab something to eat before I go to my 1:30 meeting. But again, thank you so much, everyone. I really do appreciate it. So let's look. Oh, I want to let's raid someone. Who can we raid? Let's see. Is anyone? See right there. Anyone I follow? No one's live right now. Interesting. Let's see, I don't have, again, I'm still learning how to do this. Looking, okay, let's look at this. We got this, what's this person doing? Mute this. All right. I don't know who this person is, but let's raid this one. So we got some Apollo GraphQL. Sure enough, I just started looking at GraphQL. I've known about it for a couple of years and really thought that was interesting. So, all right. So I want to raid this channel. Go ahead and raid that one. So hopefully, I don't know who this is, but it's one of the recommended channels on my Twitch stream. Chris doesn't start for an hour. Actually, Chris, I do have you auto hosted. So I will be hosting. I will auto host you. All right, so I'm gonna click on this and I'm going to start that raid. So again, thank you everyone. You'll be raiding over to Apollo. Definitely Apollo GraphQL. Hopefully, maybe you'll learn something about GraphQL. So definitely, let's raid with full steam. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you,
Taylor
Taylor.
and Code, thank you. Thank you so much. That is
The
awesome.
tragedy in it is that we were actually just wrapping our
Wrapping
stream up.
up. It
So
always happens to me.
yeah, honestly, we
Let's
the
pay it
best we could
forward.
do though is exactly we can pay it forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Get me a name and I will
I am
raid.
on it, sir. Let's see. I've got a few um coding streamers on right now. Let's see. I'm just gonna also check out
Yeah, that is too
this.
funny. And yeah,